Hi, this is Brad Constantine, and this is a podcast recording of the Old Testament. Although this is not an official recording of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, every effort's been made to be as doctrinally accurate as possible. I'll be using for the text the Joseph Smith translation of the Old Testament, along with many commentaries from general authorities of the Church, BYU professors, Bible scholars, and others. This format will be very detailed, and so if you want a deep analysis of the Old Testament, you come to the right place. Thanks for your attendance. And welcome back to the Old Testament podcast. This will be for Deuteronomy chapter 32. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. Okay, this is the song now that was mentioned in chapter 31. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish or proclaim the name of the Lord, ascribe ye greatness unto our God. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment or justice. A God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are no longer his children because of their blemish. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath brought thee or created thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Foreordination of Israel and their inheritance is what he's talking about here. All the families of the earth were predetermined based on the size of the family of Israel. Bruce R. McConkie said, Israel is an eternal people. Members of that chosen race first gained their inheritance with the faithful in the premortal life. Israel was a distinct people in the pre-existence. Many of the valiant and noble spirits in that first estate were chosen, elected, and foreordained to be born into the family of Jacob, so as to be natural heirs of all the blessings of the gospel. Abraham's mortal seed, because of long ages of preparation and devotion, while they yet dwell as spirits in the presence of their eternal Father, earned the right to the gospel and the priesthood, and an eventual inheritance of eternal life. That is, they were foreordained to be the children of the Father of the faithful, and to work the works of righteousness, as did faithful Abraham. Though the gospel is for all men in due course, yet some are entitled to receive it before it is presented to others. The Lord sends forth his word on a priority basis. It goes to all men eventually, but some are entitled to hear the voice before others. Elder Joseph Fielding Smith said, the numbers of the children of Israel were known, and the bounds of their habitation fixed, in the days of old when the Lord divided to the nations their inheritance. We conclude, therefore, that there must have been a division of the spirits of men in the spiritual world, and those who were appointed to be the children of Israel were separated and prepared for a special inheritance. He also said, through this covenant people, the Lord reserved the right to send into the world a chosen lineage of faithful spirits who were entitled to special favors based on premortal obedience. Harold B. Lee said, those born to the lineage of Jacob, who was later to be called Israel, and his posterity, who were known as the children of Israel, were born into the most illustrious lineage of any of those who came up upon the earth as mortal beings. All these rewards were seemingly promised or foreordained before the world was. Surely these matters must have been determined by the kind of lives we have lived in that premortal spirit world. Some may question these assumptions, but at the same time they will accept without any question the belief that each one of us will be judged when we leave this earth according to his or her deeds during our lives here in mortality. Isn't it just as reasonable to believe that what we have received here in this life, this earth life, was given to each of us according to the merits of our conduct before we came here? Makes total sense to me. Verse 9, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness he led him about, or encircled him, he cared for, he instructed him, he kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange god with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock. butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, and rams of the bread of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. Bashan means fruitful. It is the name of the district east of the Sea of Galilee that was taken by the Israelites during the conquest of Canaan. It went from the border of Gilead on the south to the base of Mount Hermon on the north, and was given as an inheritance to Manasseh. Bashan included the area now known as the Golan Heights. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock, Jesus or Jehovah, of his salvation. Jeshurun means upright or right in the sight of God, and refers to Israel itself. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, which were not gods, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee thou art mindful, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee, or gave you birth. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them, because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them, I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward or perverse generation, children in whom is no faith or faithfulness. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God, that they have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy. With those which are not a people, I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs or evils upon them, I will spend mine arrows upon them. They shall be burnt, or exhausted, or spent with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, and the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, and the suckling, and also the man of gray hairs. I said I would scatter, or put an end to them in the corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, Our hand is high, or victorious, and the Lord hath not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000, and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, and the rock had shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, or serpents, and the cruel venom of asps. Is not this laid up in store with them, and sealed up among my treasures? To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. For the Lord shall judge his people, and repent himself for his servants, when he seeth that their power is gone, and there is none shut up, or left, bond or free or left. And he shall say, Where are their gods, their rock in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices, and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you, and be your protection. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with or beside me. I kill, I bring about death, and I will bring about life, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven, and say, I live forever. If I whet my glittering sword, and mine hand shall take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and will reward them that hate me. I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for ye will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. And Moses came and spake all the words of this song in the ears of the people, he and Hoshea, or Joshua the son of Nun. And Moses made an end of speaking all these words to all Israel of all generations. And he said unto them, Set your hearts upon all the words which I testify among you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe to do, all the words of this law. For it is not a vain thing for you, because it is your life, and through this thing ye shall prolong your days in the land whither ye go over Jordan to possess it. And the Lord spake unto Moses the selfsame day, saying, Get thee up into this mountain, Abiram, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, that is over against or opposite Jericho, and beyond the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel for a possession. And die in the mount whither thou goest up, and be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people. Because ye trespassed against me among the children of Israel, as the waters of Meribah, Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, because ye sanctified me not in the midst of the children of Israel. Yet thou shalt see the land before thee, but thou shalt not go thither unto the land which I give unto the children of Israel. Moses is still not allowed to go into the promised land with Israel. So we know that he didn't die, but we'll see what happens here in the next episode or two. Anyway, see you later. Bye.